Hi, my name is Mikkel No Vest, and I'm Senior Advisor from Bysted. And I'm here to tell you about an investigation we did of Twitter, which is called Twitter Census. And what we did is we made a major investigation which is part of a big Scandinavian investigation where both Denmark, Sweden, Norway and Finland is a part of. And what we wanted to do was find out what people was talking about and what their relation was about. Because when you see a picture like this where we have a lot of people, it's not that interesting to find out how many are they. It's much more interesting to find out what are their relations. Because as we see in this picture, there's a little group over here standing and talking. And what are their relations to any of the other persons? So this is what we started to ask ourselves and what we wanted to understand about Twitter or social medias in all. And when we see the overall how many there is on Twitter, what we found out was it was around 28,000 that was active and 92,000 in Twitter, Danish people in Twitter at all. And those numbers are not that interesting when you see them isolated like this. So what we wanted to do was look into the relationship. Now, what we did was we used a Force Atlas 2 model where we took all users on Twitter and we drew a line between the ones they had a relationship with. And what we see here is actually a model that shows this Force Atlas 2 and how it's built. What we can see if there is someone like this that has no relation to the other ones, they will be pushed away. But if they have a relation, they will be drawn towards each other. And that was what we did and how we made a computer draw these relations for every Danish Twitter user we could find. And that resulted in a giant map like this. And what you can see is a lot of dots, and every dot is a user, Danish user at Twitter. And as I said, this is a part of a big Scandinavian investigation. So we are actually able to show how the different countries is when it's concerning Twitter. And one thing I'll get back to is that Denmark is quite small and quite kind of narrow compared to a country like Sweden, which is quite more broad and has a lot more subgroups here. And I'll talk a bit about that. Now what you see here is the map, and this is a website that you can use, and it is, as I said before, open and free to use. I'll just show here that you can zoom in, and what you see here is actually the different users from Twitter. And what you see here, the lines, and each line represent a relation. And this shows how the map itself is drawn. Now, down here there is a field where you can search yourself. I'll just try me. And press the Twitter name. And now I can see who follows me. And as you can see, all my followers is pretty narrow to my own field. I'm somewhere here, and now it's possible for you to see that you can use this for your business or yourself to see if you are related or you are in the right spot. And I'm also possible to see who I follow. And as you can see, it's quite the same area. So So the ones I follow and the one that follows me are in nearly the same place. What we've done is, first of all, we drew the map. And the next thing is we made a computer tell where the best relationships were. So every time the computer found a relationship that was especially strong, it put a color on it. The green area up here was talking about sports. The blue area was celebrities or journalists, media people. And the long one here, the orange one, was the teens. And we have an area with startups, and a small one talking about education. And the big purple one was about politics, media, and some journalists as well. There will be some overlap here. So a person like me interested in communication would be somewhere in here. And when we look how this is divided, then you can see the blue one and the purple one are the biggest one, and the newest is actually the teens, which right now is the smallest group. So how to understand these target groups and how could it be used for marketing and so on. This is an example of HBO DK, which is not been in the Danish market for a lot of time. And if we asked HBO how their target group was before we looked at this, I believe they would say, yeah, we want to be closely related to teens, and yeah, in fact, everyone that uses a TV. But when we look at this, who follows them, then we can see that the teens are not following them back. So their social profile is not reflecting that they are closely related to teens. And this starts a way to make strategic decisions about how to be on the social medias. Because if this doesn't reflect where you want to be, then there is something you should think about. And actually, HBO might consider to find out what's happening in this orange area. What are they talking about? Who are they strongly influenced by, and so on, and find out if there's any way they can use the most popular teens or so on to get them into this area. When we look at the different groups and when they signed up, this showed the sign-ups over time, starting at the 2006, where Twitter started, and all the way up to now. Well, we can see the purple group, which are the communication people, or the ones that are very happy about technology and so on. They started out quite fast here in 2008, and the same thing with the blue ones, the media ones. And only in 2009 we started to see the teens, which comes in strongly now. Our group, the purple one, is fading away. Looks like we've topped somewhere in 2009 and is fading apart. So we believe the teens will be the one that will get more strongly represented in the map in the future. And when we start to look how these different groups use Twitter, there is some patterns that shows here. We can see this is how people tweet in the week from Monday to Sunday. And we can see the purple ones and the startups, they tweet a lot in the working days, but when we get to the weekend, they start to take a break. But the teens and the sports are more active in the weekends, where yeah, they see sport, and the teens, I believe, talk about where to have fun in the weekends. So that actually shows how there are different patterns that we start to understand when we use this map. And again, when we look at the users, we see that, yeah, it's only 28,000, and when we look at the very active, it's only about 6,000 or 5,000, but it's a very influential group, and this Twitter is only one way into to the social medias as Facebook and so on. All right, if I should conclude that what I've been talking about, if Twitter is worth using or what the possibilities are, then yes, Twitter has a great impact, and we can see that the things that have been talked about or been hyped on Twitter has great impact on brands or persons or news, because it goes so fast. Everything is based on relationships, and that's why it's so important that we start to understand the relationships and what the different groups are talking about. And that's why we shouldn't focus that much on the numbers, that there is only 28,000 and there is only 92 in all. No, what we should do is try to understand the relationships and know that all of these 28,000 also have a Facebook profile which would say they can use the 3 million on Facebook as well. So this is just another entrance to the social media, and a great entrance because it's possible to monitor and find out what happens here. We can identify it and use it professionally, and that's what you should do as well. You should start looking at this, start monitoring what's happening, and use the map for it. It's out there and it is free to use. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about today, and that's what I hope you would start look at, and you're more than welcome to ask me if there's anything here about Twitter Centuries you would like to know more about. Thank you for today.